Section 3, the art of living. Art implies a graceful and skillful method of accomplishment. The art of living any phase of life is to master that phase. The only way one can master any or all phases of life is by using latent potentialities and applied techniques. What is a latent potentiality or an applied technique? Well, a latent potentiality is something that has been lying dormant inside of you that you could do, but you haven't done it. You haven't turned the potential into action. So the way you master any or all phases of your life is by taking latent potentialities, those things that you haven't yet turned into action, and applying action on them and increasing your skill of your technique. The art of living enables a man to live full values of life, accomplish the maximum in the world, and at the same time live a life of eternal freedom in God consciousness. The art of living is the art of letting the life stream flow in such a manner that every aspect of living is supplemented with intelligence, power, creativity, and the magnificence of whole life. As the art of making a flower arrangement is to glorify every flower by the beauty and glory of every other flower, in a similar way, the art of living is such that every aspect of life is supplemented by the glories of every other aspect. It is in this way that the transcendental aspect of life supplements the subjective and objective aspects of existence, so that the entire range of subjectivity and objectivity enjoys the absolute strength, intelligence, bliss, and creativity of eternal being. You probably have a number of skills. Some of your skills might even complement each other, and just like arranging a nice bouquet of flowers, if you were able to master, let's say, your rose talent, just to use the flower analogy, let's say your rose talent is cooking. And if you're able to master your rose talent, it's important to master some of your other talents in a way that supplements and supports your cooking talents. So let's say that you are also good at photography. It might benefit you to master your photography skills in a way that it could support your cooking talents. How could you do that? Well, maybe you could now make your own cookbook, and you could shoot photos of your nice creations in the kitchen. And by mastering your photography skills, let's say maybe those were your daisy skills, and so now your roses and your daisies, come together in a nice flower arrangement. The flower experts are going to tell me roses and daisies don't go together, but that's not the point. When the power of the absolute supplements all aspects of subjectivity, the ego is full. The intellect is profound, sharp, and one-pointed. The mind is concentrated and powerful. Thought force is great, and the senses are fully alert. You are alive. You are just sharp. Sadhguru talks about this idea of, what do you want your intellect to be? Do you want your intellect to be sharp, or do you want it to be dull? The intellect is like a knife. So do you want a sharp knife, or do you want a dull knife? Sure. When the ego, intellect, mind, and senses are fully supported by absolute being, experience is more profound, activity is powerful, and at the same time the intellect, ego, mind, and senses are useful in all spheres of life, in all spheres of action, and experience in the individual life in society and in the entire cosmos. So the reason why it's great to combine all of these things is because, let's go back to the cooking thing. If you're a good cook, you can experience one side of yourself by being a good cook. Great, you're a good cook. If you're also a good photographer, you get to experience the side of you that gets to document yourself and share yourself with the world. And that's such a powerful combination that it exponentially increases your enjoyment of life, to be able to combine your talents from one sphere in another sphere and make something bigger than just those things by themselves. the photography is cool, you could be a photographer, or the cooking is cool, you could be a chef. But if you're able to combine both of those things, now all of a sudden you get this like Voltron effect, the Power Rangers Megazord type thing, where the powers combined is greater than the sum of the parts. We have seen earlier that it is the sap which is the basis of the root and the entire tree. That's worth discussing for another time, but it's very interesting that the sap is actually the most important life force in the tree. In this example, we find the root lying between the transcendental area of the tree and the outer tree. Likewise, the subjective aspect of life, the inner man, ego, mind, and senses, lies between the transcendental being, the basis of our life, and the outer gross field of objective existence. The art of living demands a proper and effective existence. The art of living demands the proper and effective intake of being in the subjective aspect of life, and its infusion in all the fields of objective existence. The art of living requires that the mind draw the power of being and pass it on to the body and the surroundings. So the mind needs to draw power from somewhere, which is the sap that the tree makes in order to spread the nutrients around the tree so that the tree can grow. And so the mind is doing that. And in a different part of the book, Maharishi talks about where does the mind draw the power of being from? Where is the power of being? And the power of being is actually rooted in nothingness. So everything that becomes something has come from nothing. Now, it's not a void of nothing. It is nothingness. And nothingness is actually the most potent and amazing substance, because nothingness can actually create anything, because it's pure consciousness, untapped energy, and it has no identity. But you, with your mind, can give identity to nothingness and create something of value. Just how, the trees are able to intake water and intake air and turn it into sap. And sap is what carries the life force throughout the tree to be able to grow the leaves. And so you're taking what's essentially these raw materials and putting it through your mind and being able to output things like books and songs and tools and passion and cooking and photography, and all of that is coming from nothingness, and it's being channeled through the mind into the body and then into the surroundings. For a tree to grow to maturity, efficiency is demanded on the part of the root, so that the nourishment from the surrounding area is properly absorbed by the root and given out to all the different aspects of the outer tree. This provides the key to the art of living. The inner man should be such that it absorbs the value of the transcendental absolute state of life and passes it on to the outer gross relative state of life, enriching each aspect and supplementing it with the power of absolute being. This technique amounts to thinking in such a way that each individual thought enjoys the strength of cosmic intelligence of absolute being. Every action enjoys the power of absolute unlimited being, as the experience is supplemented by the bliss of transcendental being. The individual creative energy is supplemented by the unlimited, unbounded creative energy of cosmic being. Writer's block is something that people talk about because they say, oh, I don't know what to write, or I don't know what to do next with my characters. I'm not sure where to take this plot. When you tap into the unlimited, unbounded creative energy of cosmic being, there will always be things to talk about. And it's very interesting to me that sometimes I can feel uninspired, unmotivated, just unaware of a lot of things. And I could sit down and meditate and not give my brain any input. It's not like I'm going on YouTube and I'm searching for content and then I'm trying to get inspired by that and then make more videos about it. I could sit down and close my eyes and meditate and theoretically not do anything, tap into nothingness. And when I'm done meditating, be very clear on an idea that I want to create. And that is the source of unlimited, unbounded creative energy, that tapping into nothingness. And so a lot of times, what we look for inspiration in the world is only what's been created by other people who have tapped into that nothingness and created something. And so by being reactive and responding to things of the world, all we're able to do is to make derivatives of those things instead of tapping into a source. Some people call that God, some people call that consciousness. Tapping into a source which is formless, and so you have the ability and the potential to create something original and unique. And that's where the full potential of creativity comes from. So if you're ever feeling uninspired or unmotivated, sometimes the best thing to do is not to go search for inspiration, not to watch a movie, not to read a book, not to listen to music. It's sometimes to be still and be quiet and give your brain absolutely no input. Just focus on existence. Do a meditation. Spend some time maybe even walking quietly in the forest. Something that you would almost say your brain could possibly feel bored from doing. But it's in those moments of this connection to the nothingness that tapping into that sap can actually yield growing new things from, and making these bouquets of flowers which complement each other, from cooking to photography to whatever you like to do, dancing and music and even business consulting. You could have a brand new idea from sitting quietly and thinking about the unmanifested. I don't know. It's up to you. You take it from there. All right. Have a good day.